Hi, and thanks for tuning in to another garden benchtop tutorial. This episode is going to be a really quick tutorial on how to clean up a sunburnt Philodendron birkin. If this is the first time you're tuning into this troubleshooting series, let me do a really quick recap of where we're up to in nursing this Philodendron birkin back to health. So during the first phase of our garden benchtop troubleshooting process, we identified damage to the top leaves as well as some damage to the bottom brown leaves. Now we concluded that the damage to the top leaves was due to sunburn and the browning leaves on the bottom was due to some soil inefficiencies. So right now, this birkin is screaming out for a bit of help, and in this next phase, the action phase of the garden benchtop troubleshooting process, we're going to be cleaning up the plant and getting rid of any dead and damaged debris. So let's get into it. Now for those that saw the first episode of this troubleshooting series, you may have noticed that the damage to the top leaves has progressed considerably. The leaves are actually falling off and breaking apart. And I have to come clean here. It's actually been a few weeks since I filmed that first episode, so unfortunately I fell sick and I didn't have the energy nor the brain power to help this plant out. So in an ideal world, I would have cleaned it up straight away, but the delay in the cleanup of this Philodendron has really brought about a really good opportunity to explain why I prefer to remove the entire leaf as opposed to just the brown parts of a dying leaf. You can actually see the process that the plant is taking. Can you see how the Philodendron is actually severing the leaf on its own and sacrificing the leaf? And the birkin is purely doing it for self-preservation. So even without our intervention, this birkin is trying to preserve itself and maintain the main plant. But let's give this guy a hand and actually discard the debris, because dead or rotting plant material can attract mold and diseases that can transfer to the healthy tissue. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're going to use a sharp pair of gardening scissors that's been cleaned with rubbing alcohol. Now you can pick this stuff up at your local nursery or online at Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below. But we always encourage sterilizing your gardening equipment, especially when you're cutting into healthy plant tissue, because it'll prevent the transfer of diseases. So simply grab some paper towel from the kitchen, dab some on, and thoroughly clean your scissors. Now when it comes to removing the actual stems, I like to cut as close to the base as possible, because as you may be able to see already, the browning continues to progress down the stem. So we want to get ahead of this browning and cut it off and allow the plant to callus over, therefore stopping the progression. So let's do that. Like I said, I personally like to go as close as possible to the base, but it's purely up to you depending on the aesthetics that you want on your plant. So I'll give you a closer look at how I've cut it. You can see the tissue is quite healthy in the stem, and in time it'll heal over. The next step we're going to do to clean up this plant is to remove the brown leaves on the bottom. Now there is a temptation to just yank it out. I recommend not doing that because you can actually pull part of the healthy plant out. So again, use your scissors and cut as close to the base as possible. Now this dead leaf is actually a perfect example of why we need to clean up our plants. It's actually developing a bit of mold on it, so we got to it just in time. Okay, so there you have it. We've cleaned up all the dead debris. You can take it one step further and just clean up all the other debris on it, and that's it really. We've cleaned up our little Philodendron, we've gotten rid of all the dead debris, and now we can focus on new growth, which I can see is coming out here. So we haven't actually quite finished all the steps involved with fixing up and nursing our birkin back to health. The next step will be to repot our Philodendron, because as we discussed in the first episode, the soil was looking a bit tired, and I'd love to get some fresh nutrients into the soil. But I'll leave that for the next episode. So make sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when we release that update. And if you haven't seen the first episode, I highly encourage you to do so, because we actually run through the entire garden benchtop troubleshooting process that we encourage all our plant parents to use when they have trouble with their indoor plants. So go on and level up your plant parenting skills right here.